Hello everyone, I'm Beef Arno and I'm going to welcome you to my inaugural video, which will be one of many in a series of Reddit narrations dealing with the infamous restaurant industry. So set your devices in your six pans for the best in kitchen sound quality. Let's go ahead and get this started, right? So our first tale comes from r/tales from your server, posted by user Bumber Bevan. It's kind of a weird name. And it's entitled, "The Time the Owner's Sister Threatened to Come to the Restaurant and Kick My Ass." So I'm not a waitress/bartender anymore, but this story is from 2011/2012 when I was. Some of the memories are hazy for me, but I'll do my best to make it coherent. This is also long. Apologies. Don't apologize, OP. Content this long makes for a good story anyway. So let's keep going. I worked at a small family-owned Italian restaurant, and at the time the owner mentioned that the restaurant sales were down and that he was going to hire his sister as a hostess, because apparently we, the servers, must be doing something wrong. We were all kind of shocked at that. I mean, we noticed it had been slower, but we were still dealing with the aftermath of the 2008 recession, so we assumed it had to do with that. 2008 was kind of hard. I was a pretty broke dude myself, pretty young though, didn't have a job, and I was pretty stupid. So, kind of did that to myself. Anyways, let's keep going. Also, we didn't have any complaints other than wait time, and the restaurant made almost all the food by hand, so we were pretty confused. I'm going to quickly explain how we did the hostessing in the restaurant. Every Friday/Saturday, we would rotate one of the servers and have them at the hostess station. I'm assuming the hostess, would be paid more, and the servers would tip us out. That kind of makes sense, because you're not making tips as a hostess. I don't know anybody that actually tips the host. Does anybody actually tip the host ever? Go ahead and leave that down in the comments if you're one of those people that will actually tip the host. Never heard. So as hostess, we didn't just seat people, but we'd also bus tables and run food if needed. Oof, that's, I don't know if that's a great idea, having your host, actually running dirty plates and handling too much food, because you're kind of the face of the restaurant at that point. You're the first thing the customer sees. So a little bit risky, going back and forth to the dish pit and everything. You end up with a dirty, messy uniform. Not a good look. Anyway, we didn't have a busser or table runner. I kind of gathered that. Since, again, it was a small restaurant, I think the max we could have in the dining room was 75 and 20 at the bar. I wouldn't really say that's a small restaurant, kind of medium-sized. I've worked in smaller places that, still made plenty of money. So, wouldn't call that small. We also didn't have sections, so the hostess would rotate who got sat next. So the owner's sister, we'll call her Julie. It was Julie's first day, and she was supposed to start at 4 p.m., but hadn't shown up yet. Well, that's a great look, it's your first day, you just either don't even show up or you show up late. That's really going to work out great for you. And we had people waiting at the door to be seated, so we quickly searched for her, couldn't find her, and we went ahead and sat the people. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of par for the course. That's what you're supposed to do. You keep things moving. You don't want people just standing there waiting in line. You want them, sitting at tables buying food. So, of course, once we sat them, Julie shows up. Yeah, of course Julie shows up at that point. That's how the universe works. And I've never met her at this point, so she immediately berates me, telling me that she's the hostess and I'm not allowed to seat people. So all I could think was, oh great, here we go. Wow, yeah, so right off the bat, Julie already sounds like a complete catastrophe. Oh, let's keep going. So for 2 years, I put up with Julie. Holy crap, OP, you put up with her for 2 whole years? That's like an eternity in the industry. I don't know how you did it. You poor thing. So anyway, she would berate us and would not allow us to enter our tips into the computer when she was working, even though we did that all the time by ourselves. That's a little suspect. I mean, that's your money. That's not her money, so she shouldn't have any say over that. That's just my 2 cents anyway. You see what I did there? Anyway, so she questioned me on a really good tip that I got and asked the guy if he was sure he wanted to give me that much. Wow, Julie. Wow, dude. How are you going to shoot your coworkers in the foot like that? That's a real jerk move right there. Already, I'm just hating this already. So because she couldn't believe that I, of all people, would have gotten that tip, the guy flipped out and yelled at the owner. So another time, she gave every customer the owner's number because she was mad at us for not bussing our hold on. No, I need to reread this, and I need to do it slowly. Another time, she gave every customer the owner's number because she was mad at us for not bussing our tables. So I'm sorry for the constant pauses. I kind of do this during stories to add my own commentary, but that is that's career suicide right there. Not that I would really call this industry a career per se. I mean, some people might, some people get pretty successful at it. More or less the back of the house. I don't really know too many people that make the front of the house a career. If you do, leave it in the comments section. Tell me how it worked out. And then she told them to complain. She told them to so she's like screwing over all the people that work there. Plus, she's trying to bankrupt her brother. Oh, that's going to work out great. Oh, God. So we were slammed, and we could have used her help bussing. Yeah, of course. I mean, when you're slammed, everybody's got to pitch in. If you can, there should be nobody idle just screwing around when somebody's slammed. Everybody should be moving. Everybody should be helping out. That's just common sense. And oh yeah, she wouldn't bus any tables or run any food. Of course she wouldn't. She would just seat people, and then we had to tip her out. I'm hating her more with every paragraph, OP. I'm just hating her that much more. The more I read, it's just getting worse. So she would also shove trays in our hand if we were carrying out even one plate. Didn't matter. She said it was classier to carry everything on a tray. I mean, okay, there's a thing in restaurants. You do have to kind of keep up appearances. You got to play that game. But one plate on a tray, I mean, that seems really counterproductive. You're going to dirty up a tray. God, Dish Pit's just going to love you there. You're going to keep having to bring it back and forth just to carry one plate. That's so stupid. Anyway, she would go between liking me and hating me because I'm not a pushover. Well, yeah, OP, people like that usually don't get along well with people that actually stand up for themselves. Go figure, right? So she mostly hated me. Gathered that. At one point, we were so fed up, we asked our manager, who was the head chef of the kitchen. Oh, poor guy. It's not like the chef doesn't already have enough on his plate. Yeah, see what I did there? To please talk to the owner about his sister. So the owner set up a meeting with us. Right before the meeting starts, Julie showed up, and all of us looked at each other confused as to why she was there. Well, OP, I don't know why you guys would be confused that she's there. It's a staff meeting. She's part of the staff. I mean, what are you guys trying to do? Just have a meeting and just purposefully exclude her, That's kind of screwed up. So I'll cast a little flame towards you there, OP. That's, you don't do that. So the owner then berated us. Berated. I'm seeing that word a lot. You get berated a lot, don't you, OP? For treating his sister poorly and that we need to treat her better. We were all so pissed. I imagine you were. I imagine pissed is probably an understatement, but, it looks like classic textbook nepotism going on here. Anyway, one server actually did quit over her. Julie really hated her. And when we would hostess, we would get a piece of paper and write each server's names, make a chart of how many people/tables they had taken, just to make it fair for each person. Okay, OP, that sounds like a good system. Make sure everybody gets a healthy tip out at the end of the night. I get it. Servers actually do pretty well with tips from, what I've observed from the back of the house. So that server's name was Lacey. And Julie wrote her name down as Lazy. Oh, that's super mature. Just, such sophistication there. Because she was annoyed that Lacey wasn't bussing her tables because she was busy. Oh, what does she want? If you're busy, you get to it when you can. If it's really that big of a problem, have somebody else bust the table and then, have a talk about it after the shift's done. Handle it like adults. But I mean, this is the restaurant industry, and that's kind of a tall order to do that. So she quit and then wrote a note to the owner saying that Julie was the reason why she had quit. He still didn't see an issue. Well, and that doesn't surprise me. We've already pretty much established that nepotism is an overarching theme here. So let's continue. So it started getting to the point where I was actually going to quit. I have no idea why I put up with it for so long, but I was making good money and I knew the place. You know what, OP? Knowing the place is probably 85% of the learning curve of any restaurant you're going to work in. You can be an awesome cook, you can be a, hell of a fast server. You can be generally good at your job, but most of the learning curve, like I said, knowing where everything goes, knowing how to do the dance in that certain kitchen, that dining room, it's important. So, anyway, Julie was not giving me any tables at all one night, so I said to the manager slash head chef, there you go, bugging the head chef again. That poor guy. And the fact you haven't really posted anything negative about that head chef, so he does. I'm assuming he's probably just, pretty cool, even keel, level headed dude with a really, really big workload. And, he's got to put up and handle Julie's crap. Oh my God. Ugh. It just gives me chills and like just the bad kind. Anyway, so OP says, if she doesn't give me a table, I'm quitting. So he reaches out to the owner who told her that she needed to give me tables. She then pouted, refused to work, stood at the entrance, and loudly called people on her cell to complain. Oh, what? Like, again, like in front of everybody in the restaurant, like she's just throwing a fit like a 3-year-old because you didn't buy him a bag of Skittles at the check stand? How old is this lady? Owner's sister? I'm assuming this lady is probably a little older. So, and if so, you hate to see that. You just I personally hate to see it. I just think it's pretty sad. So anyway, since she refused to hostess, the manager slash head chef had to that night. You put the head chef up at the host stand? Okay, who's actually running the show at that restaurant? Like, how are you going to take the head chef out of the kitchen who already has this monumental workload every single minute of every day that they're at that restaurant, and you're going to put him at the host stand? I'm sorry, OP, that seems so counterproductive, it's not even funny. Anyway, the owner only thankfully listened at this point because he was starting to get multiple complaints about Julie. Oh God, I wonder where those come from. Oh God. But still hadn't fired her because she was his sister. Again, nepotism. Overarching theme. Great. So the straw that broke the camel's back, and is why my title is what it is what happened next. So, for context, I'm good at computers, and I learn super fast. I learned our POS system, piece of crap system, very quickly when we got it, and was even given manager privileges on it because I understood it so well. Oh, right on, OP. I never learned the POS system. I mean, other than like clocking out and clocking in, but just hearing some of the stories about how obstinate it can be, ugh. No, thank you. Our POS system was at the waitress station, and Julie was helping another server with an issue. Like, wow, hold on, Julie was actually helping? She was helping with something? That's, I'll suspend my disbelief there, but I don't know. Well, I don't know. Actually, I'm not going to suspend my disbelief. I'm kind of called BS on that one. Julie helping, that doesn't seem to make sense at this point, but I might be wrong. So the owner wanted to discount one person's food on a table that had one bill. So if you select the food and hit discount, it will then discount the entire order. So you have to split the order in order to properly discount it, because it doesn't separate the checks doing it this way. I had tried to help Julie before with the POS system, but she called me a know-it-all and said I thought I was better than everybody else. So when she was having trouble with the discount, I kind of said, F it, and I didn't help her. I wouldn't have either, OP. Honestly, at that point, yeah, she's on her own. Let her fail on her own. Ugh, no one likes you, Julie. Go find something else to do. So Julie had figured out another way to specifically discount one item. If she rung it in on its own, she could just discount it and then put all the other orders in so that she could separate the discounted item, but keep it on one check. So that means she re-rang the entire order in and failed to mention to the kitchen to not make the food. Oh, I see where this is going. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Poor chef. Poor kitchen. I completely forgot about it after a while, and Julie and the server had already left for the day. So when the food came up and the chef had rang the bell and said the server's name, I realized what had happened. Yeah. Oh, chef's not going to be happy. I said to him, that server already left. I think they re-rang an order in and never told you not to make it. The chef was rightfully pissed and then called the owner to explain what happened so he didn't get in any trouble. Yeah, good move on the chef's part. Gotta cover your butt. And Julie ends up calling the restaurant and says to the bartender, "Is that bitch there?" And my bartender says, "Who?" And she says, "Tell her," meaning OP, "I'm gonna come there and kick her ass." Oh, wow. Oh, God. Cussing her out and threatening her. Oh, that. Oh, oh. It just sounds like the restaurant industry, period. You deal with people like that. I don't know what it is about some people that get into the industry, but they're just, you find some pretty unhinged, just borderline psychotic people in the industry. I don't know why. Anyway, I'd had enough at that point, so I called the owner, told him I was done, and that I can't work with his sister anymore. She's nasty to all of us. And then I told him what happened when she called and what she said. She was then fired. I stayed for maybe another year or so. You stayed for another year? I thought you quit, but you stayed for another year. So you spent like 3 years there. It's like decades. But yeah. And for context, also this woman was in her 50s. I kind of called that earlier. She did sound kind of like a relatively older gal, and wow, she's in her 50s and she's acting like that, and I was early 20s. I mean, people that age, you'd kind of expect someone in their 50s to kind of be a little bit of role model for the youngsters. Maybe, instead of, cussing at them and threatening them, maybe, passing on some sagely wisdom. Yeah, perfect world, I guess. And there's probably other things I'm forgetting, but that's the gist of it. Oh, and ETA. She also took everything as an insult. You would think you were having a normal conversation with her, and then she would get mad at you, or mad at what you said, rather. When she first started working, she told me she had hosted before, so being friendly, I asked, "Oh, where?" She then got mad at me for that. Well, why'd she get mad? Does that mean like she just got fired from every other place she worked, or is she just lying about her experience? There's something there. You don't just get mad at a innocent question like that. It's pretty weird. Because she thought I was being snarky about her hostess skills when I wasn't. Oh, good God. Oh, OP, I feel for you. I hope you got out of that restaurant and, maybe hopefully found a better niche in, the work world. Because like I said, front house, you tend to make a good, decent bit of money, but it's just not one of those jobs you want to be doing for, 15, 20 years and calling it a career. It's just not good for you. I mean, again, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, if I'm off base with that comment, but I sure know I wouldn't like to do it. I mean, I spent 10 years in the kitchen, and while I put out some awesome product, I put out awesome dishes, beautiful work. It's just not a line of work that I wanted to do all my life. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like button, leave a comment, maybe about my boring voice, or, like I said, whether I'm off base with any of my comments. And if you feel so inclined, hit the subscribe button. And until next time, everybody, have a good shift.